everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Crate, and we're going to get started working on the inside and outside covers of the Forest mini album. And so I've selected these two pieces, and all the paper you see here is from the 12 by 12 pack. So this is, and that's because it needs to go 8.5 inches wide. So I've pieced together two patterns, this brown wood pattern along with this, and you can see on both sides how I've pieced it together. So that's what's going to be the inside liner. And I'm going to go ahead and get my tape removed and get this down. It'll just take a second. Now, because I have tape on here, I'm going to make sure I put plenty of glue that'll allow me to shift it into place before the tape grabs. So make sure you put plenty of glue on your tape so it'll slide around and you can get it just right. I'm going to turn this slightly sideways so I can see my edges here. Okay, pretty straightforward. So one of the things I did, and I did this off camera, is I rough cut these 4 pieces, and then I taped these 2 pieces together, and then I laid it out and marked it and then trimmed it to fit after they were taped together. I think that makes for a much better result because you don't have to worry about your edges not being completely lined up on both sides. And you know what I just realized is this is going to be right in my hinge. So I'm going to have to trim, I'm going to have to come back and hand trim this. This edge is okay, this edge is in the hinge area. So I'm going to lift it and I'm going to hand trim it, but not right this second. And this side, I'm going to double check and make sure I don't do that again. And it is definitely clear of the hinge. And the reason I don't want it is that's what happens if it's in the hinge area. So you want to make sure it's plenty clear. And it's just the lower half, the top half is fine. I thought I had already dry fit that, but I guess I didn't. But no problem. I'll fix it. All right. Okay. Not exactly sure how I'm going to accomplish this. I got to think about it. It's going to need to go at a slight angle, so I think I might use an X-Acto knife and just trim it. At a slight angle. And I'm being careful not to apply too much pressure because I don't want to cut through to the tape. And then once I get my initial line, I'm going to, I think, come back with my scissors. Yeah, so I've cut an initial line through there. I'm going to try to stay right on that line with my scissors and free cut. Okay, much better. Right at the very end it kind of swung out, so I'm going to trim that tiny bit. There we go, and I'm going to get some ink on it. there we go. That's gonna work. Add some more glue. Oops, too much glue. Okay, there we go. It looks good. So that's the inside. So now we're going to get focused on the outside. So I'm going to do a little housekeeping and line up my papers. Be right back. Okay, I've got my pieces ready for the cover. And this is from the 12 by 12 collection, and I've trimmed it. Actually, I trimmed it off this side. But when I was looking at it, I kind of just visually liked the way this sort of sloped down, so I decided to trim this side off. This is going to become my spine, and this is my cover, and I've just rough cut it, so I'm going to need to trim it down. So let's do that real quick. 6.5, so I'm going to trim it down to 7 7/8. I said 7 7/8. Did I do that? I meant 6 3/8. 6 3/8 by 8 3/8. So basically an 1/8 inch shorter and an 1/8 inch narrower than the cover. And I think that looks pretty good. It looks like I still need to come off a little bit on the end. I always have to dry fit this to see how it's going to work, because you never know exactly how your spine's going to go in. How straight it's going to be, how square it's going to be. It looks like I need to trim off a little bit more here. See how that looks. Oh, still not right. Still need to come off a little bit more. And so it turns out that this is not perfectly square, so I'm adjusting it. So I'm going to trim off this edge and go to this corner. So I'm going to cut off a diagonal sliver, which is sometimes necessary to make the paper look square, even if the book isn't. And it'll look good, but I gotta tell you, oh, am I doing the wrong side? No, I'm good. I panicked. It's very hard to hold it in the trimmer. So I wound up actually cutting from this corner and then cutting just about 1/8 inch off on one side to get it to look square. All right, so I think I'm ready. I'm gonna ink it and lay it down. And I think this all stems from, when I was cutting the chipboard, I don't think I got it square, and I didn't, so I kind of have to live with the result of that now. Let's see. Which just means you have to fuss around with the trimming. You can still make it look square. And I know I don't mean square, but right angles, because it's a rectangle. Okay. Without a doubt, this pattern is one of my favorite in the collection. I just think it's so pretty. Okay, I'm just going to get the cover on, and then we're going to insert our pages before we do any embellishing, because I don't want to have to open the book up and crush anything that I've, and be flipping it around. Okay, the next piece is going to be this one. No, it's not, because it's not the right size. It's too short. I don't know how that happened. So we're gonna have to put a trim piece in because I'm actually out of paper. I don't have anything this wide. Let me look back at my bag. Nope. I'm gonna have to find a little trim piece to go along the edge. So I'm gonna wait on that. Let's go ahead and put in the spine. Okay. 6 3/8. Okay. Does it look good? It does. Let's get some ink on it and lay it down. Okay, there we go. So there is the cover and the spine. Didn't get enough glue on the corner, pressing it in place. And so, like I said, I need to find a strip that's going to work across the bottom. So let's do that real quick. I've got a handful of strips here that I think are long enough. So we'll find one that works. That's actually the wrong orientation. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to use. So I'm disappointed that this isn't full size because I sure thought it was. That's the way I designed it. I don't know how I messed up. What I'm going to do is go ahead and tape these things together, and then just like I did on the inside, trim it out after it's taped together as a unit. And it's going to go like this. Let's go ahead and get some ink on those two interfacing edges. And this one, and then we'll ink the rest of it after we've taped it and trimmed it. Otherwise, we're just going to wind up inking it twice. Okay, so here we go. And this is the same process I used for the inside liner. I just did it off camera. Okay. Okay, now I am going to pull the book back in, and we're going to trim it down to fit. Okay. It's too bad because I wasn't off very much. About maybe a ½ inch. Okay, we're going to take it off the blue side. So I'm going to mark it. this way. See how we did. That looks good. Now we need to straighten out the edge here. Okay, cut off a little bit here. Straighten that out. Okay, that should do it. Let's see. Yes, looks good. So we're going to ink it and lay it down. Okay. A little bit of extra glue and just burnish this all into place. All right. Okay, I'm going to put my scraps up, and then we're going to go ahead and install the pages. And I'm going to set aside these. These are how I'm going to embellish the cover. Okay, so there's our inside. We're back to the inside. And I'm going to verify that my pages are in the correct order. I want you guys to do that. It's really easy to get them out of order. So there's page 1, page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything's in order. So I'm going to set them back over to the side. We're going to install them one at a time. And you will use your pick tool. And again, everything is built on a pocket page. So right now we're going to open up our pocket page and slip it over our hinge. And then we'll pull the tape off. Wow, that's really tight. There it goes. I was gonna say that's really tight. Pull the tape off to press it into place permanently. Everybody has a slightly different technique. I used to start to take the backing off my tape, and then I started just slipping it on with the tape on. And these two panels are making it really hard to open up the pocket. There we go. So I just open them, I said pockets, but flap. But now I just slip the whole thing on like so. And then I reach in with my pick tool and remove the tape. And right now I'm just looking to see if it's laying in the book straight. That looks pretty darn good. So I'm going to try not to shift it too much, push it into place, reach in and take that tape out. So that's a card inside the pocket. Okay. I might have to, it looks like that's a little too tight on the insert, so I'm just opening it up a little bit. I think my glue came up too high because I want this insert to go all the way in and be completely clear of the hinge area. Okay, we're good. All right. I'll straighten this one out. I'd like it to go in about that far, and I may have to do some other adjusting to make sure that happens, but for now it's good. And we can go on to page 2, or pocket page 2, which is actually page 3 and 4. I know that's a little confusing, but let's see. Is that, there it is. Okay. Can't remember if I, yeah, I didn't. Go back and take this off too. Okay, page 1, page 2. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and install the last pocket page and then the one on top of it, squaring off the back page, I think. I'm going to try it real quick and see how it looks. I think actually I'm going to go ahead and install this page and then the last one. I hate it when that happens. I love it when it comes out in just one piece. Like that. Why can't they all do that? Okay, and now we're on to the last page. Okay, so now we've got all of our pages in. And I meant to take pictures of them before I put them in the book, but I forgot, and that's okay. Let's push that in. Okay, so now we're ready to start embellishing the cover. So this is one of the cut-aparts from the 8x8 collection. And so is this, and so is this. So I'm going to arrange these, hopefully artistically, for the cover. I just think they're all very pretty. I'm just not sure how I'm doing it yet. I think I had originally, so this one I kind of tore and inked the edges, and the others I cut. So that's just really preference. If you don't like this sort of rough edge, then you may want to trim this out square. But I kind of liked it. Okay. I really like this eagle head. I think it's super cool. So I'm going to try shifting everything over a little and see how I like that. Not so crazy, but I am pretty sure I want this here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. So I've got chipboard on the back of all of these, by the way. Okay, I like it. That's what I'm doing. This is just a matter of fussing around until you get that right combination. Sometimes I can do it in a few minutes like I just did. And then other times I can fuss around with this for over an hour before I'm happy with the look. So this is going to be a double. So I'm going to add some additional chipboard to the back on this half so that it's on top of chipboard. So I want a double layer on this side. So I'll do that real quick. And this is just leftover chipboard from when I cut out the covers. Doesn't have to be any special chipboard. It's just whatever you have left over. I'm going to put another small piece right here. Hopefully that's trimmed to fit. Yep. So this is going to lay on top of this chipboard. And then I've got the double on this side. Like so. That actually went in quite crooked. I'm going to straighten it out. Maybe. Maybe not. Might just have to go with it. That's bothering me. I might have to trim that out. Or I'll cover it up with something. That's what I'll do. Okay. All right, so I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on here. And okay, now you can see there's some chipboard behind this layer, behind this owl, and now, or actually it's a hawk, I'm not sure, a hawk I think, and then here on the eagle head. All right, now I've got my inserts and I went ahead and covered one side, and I'll show you why at the very end. I don't have enough to cover both sides without doing a significant amount of piecing or color blocking. There's a total of 4 of these. These are 1-inch strips. I'm going to go ahead and put those inside the book. And then I'm going to show you, I've got this bag of embellishments that we can choose from. To further embellish the front cover up, just make it a little more blended. There we go. So I think the cascade looks nice, especially with the liners. Okay, so that is that. Now, here's my bag of cut-aparts and embellishment bits. So we have a lot. Stamperia collections come with a lot of cut-aparts, tags, and I've pre-cut and paperback quite a few of these. I'm also going to be using the chipboard pieces that come in their pack. I love these. So I'm going to use these leaves here and there. And this is from the die cut. I call them chipboard because they're heavy duty like chipboard, but they're called die cuts in their collections. So I'm definitely going to insert these here and there, and I'm going to take a few minutes and sort through this huge pile and come up with the ones that I want to use on the cover. But I'm going to do that offline so that when we get back together, you'll see the elements that I've chosen that I want to work into the cover, and I'll set the rest of them aside because it's a bit overwhelming even for me. Okay, so I'll be back when I have picked out what I want to do for the embellishments on the cover.